Okay, as promised in the last video, this is a video that's going to be covering another question. This one's a pretty good one because I get a lot of this one. This is from someone who is not a native speaker. He's German. And actually, I think I'm going to be answering two German questions. I've been running into a lot of Germans recently, actually. Okay, so this is a guy who's a German, and he has no PhD. And he does have he speaks English like a native. He's been speaking English his whole life. Claims he has no accent. But he does not have. I'm sorry. He has no college degree. That's it. But he does have some teaching credentials, and he will be trained as a teacher. And he wants to know about his chances about getting a job here in Japan. Now, generally speaking, the rule of thumb is, if you want to be a teacher in Japan, you have to be from a country that speaks English as its native language. America, USA, Canada, England, South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, one of those countries. I think that's all. Those are the major ones, right? Of course, when I speak of England, I'm including Scotland and Ireland, and etc. But yeah, if you're not from one of those countries, it's much harder to get a job. Now, it's not impossible, and if you are from a country that has a working holiday. What's it called? A reciprocal working holiday visa program or exchange program going with Japan, then you're okay. And let me just list those countries for you. Okay, you must be a citizen, and there's a certain age group. I think you have to be under 30. I'm not sure about that, but I will give you a link to all the specifics. You guys can do a little homework. I don't have to do all the work for you, but I will tell you the countries: Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Korea, Germany, the UK. Ireland. How's the UK and Ireland different? I don't know. Ireland, Denmark, or Norway. Or you're a resident of Taiwan or Hong Kong. If you are a resident of any of these countries, or a citizen of any of these countries, oh no, I guess resident of just the last two, Taiwan or Hong Kong. If you're a citizen of the countries I just mentioned, except for Taiwan and Hong Kong, read the description. And you're between the ages of 18 and 30, you can get a working holiday visa in Japan. And there are certain rules, like I think you can only you must have never have applied before. It must be your first time and things like that. But yeah, it's possible. So once you get into the country, you're allowed to work. So there you have no actual visa problem. So a company that deems you good enough to work might hire you, and you wouldn't have to have them sponsor you. See, if you're like me, if you're an American and you come to Japan, you have to find someone to sponsor you, or you have to be married to a Japanese, or you have to be on a student visa. That's the other option, come in on a student visa. So I'll leave you a link to the bottom, the conditions of the working holiday program, and good luck with that. Now, again, you wouldn't be the number one prime candidate to be hired as an English teacher, but it's not impossible, and it does happen. And I have seen non-native English speakers teach English here. So there you go. And the other option is, if you get into the country, even if you don't get hired by a teacher, if you have the working holiday visa, you can actually pick up students here and there. Advertising, there's certain places you can advertise, put your little sign here and there. And if you're cheap enough or whatever, charismatic enough, you can gather those students and teach in coffee shops, Denny's or McDonald's or Starbucks or whatever. Anyway, so that's the first question. Okay, the next question was about singing and playing the guitar. This guy who wrote this question to me also sings and plays the guitar, and he wants to know if there are a lot of Japanese in the metal genre. I'm not the person to talk to about that, though I used to be a band manager here in Japan. They were not metal; they were just mainstream rock, pop, Bryan Adams type music. But there is a guy named 11 Colors here on YouTube. That's his username, spelled out all in letters, ELEVEN COLORS, 11 Colors. And he might answer your questions. You can try PMing him or Skyping him. I'm not Skyping him, I'm tweeting him. He has a Twitter account as well. So that's the other option. And the final question, do you think that these qualifications, in addition to 2 years of teaching experience and advanced knowledge about education, about how the language works, will be enough to convince Japanese schools to hire me? I'm aiming for primary or high schools, not colleges or universities. The thing about high schools is you have to, like I said in the last video, you have to have in most high schools, you need to have some conversational Japanese ability. If you don't, it will make them reluctant. But of course, it's not impossible. So there may be some high school, or I'm sure there are quite a few high schools out there that may hire you without you having any Japanese ability. But most of those high schools want someone who has a BA. But again, I know a Brazilian guy who worked in, I think, Fukui for a junior high school, I believe, teaching English there. So if you go to a smaller town, it's possible. So bottom line, in summary, right? If this dog can talk, then you can probably get a job teaching English somewhere in Japan, but you got to find the position. The other good thing is, it's all, being at the right place at the right time. I knew a guy who did not have a BA, but just happened to be in the right place at the right time when another teacher, for some reason, just flaked on him, and he was able to get a job at a university, really, really cushy job, though he wasn't technically qualified for it. Everyone else in his department had an MA or PhD, but he only had a BA, but they gave him the full, everything that everyone else got. It was a really cushy job. I think he got $2,000 a year just to spend on anything he wanted. So he bought himself a new computer every year. Yeah, so there you go. If you're in the, and I've often been called suddenly like, hey, can you do this job? Can you do that? I just happen to be around and no one else is. So yeah, connecting, making connections, networking, especially in the beginning, is important. I don't do that much anymore. I don't really need to. I still have quite a bit of feelers out there, so I do occasionally get asked to do certain things. But I'm doing a seminar this Friday because someone knows that I can do it, as in the ability to give a 1 hour and a half, a 90-minute speech to a bunch of people about English and how to improve it. So yeah, that's my answer. Good luck there, and thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. And again, more GoPros coming soon, more Tomoko Des videos coming soon, so check those out. Thanks for watching. Good night.